For the month of August, we're going to do something very interesting and quite different. We're going to talk about a condition called intersex. When it comes to intersex, there is a difficult of differentiating between male and female. And the most common condition that contributes toward intersex is a condition called congenital adrenal hyperplasia. By definition, sex is defined as a male or a female, and that is genetically defined by XX and XY. However, when a child is born with an external genitalia that doesn't look like the typical male or female, and that causes an ambiguous genitalia. In our body, we have an adrenal gland that helps to produce different sort of hormones, and there are cortisol hormones, which for stress, and also mineral cortisol, which is actually for the retention of salts, and lastly sex hormone. When there's enzyme deficiency, and that can actually causes extra amount of certain hormone. For example, when somebody suffers from congenital adrenal hyperplasia, then they get less of cortisol hormones and mineral corticoids, and a lot of that is channeled to sex hormone, and that happens in a child. When a child who is a female child is born, if there's too much of androgen that is in the body, then the child will develop with ambiguous genitalia. So the child's clitoris as a female will actually enlarge and causes what looks like a tiny penis, and on the other hand, the actual labia might look like scrotum. So when the child is born, it's difficult to differentiate between a boy and a girl, and this is a rare condition which is autosomal recessive condition that is described as congenital adrenal hyperplasia. Under this circumstance, a urologist will take charge in order to solve the problem of something called salt losing phenomenon. Basically, we replace the salt with additional steroid in order to save the child. However, later on, there will be tests that is done to differentiate whether this is a boy or a girl or true hermaphrodites, and that is done by a genetic testing. The chromosomal analysis of XX or XY will determine whether this is a child who is a female and develop with male secondary sexual characteristics. Once that is established, usually the actual hormonal replacement plus a minor surgery to reassign the child to its original gender, then the problem is solved. But next week, we're going to talk about a true hermaphrodite when there is a deficiency in the genes. So instead of getting XX and XY, somebody might get XO or XXY. And so you're confused? Then you need to stay tuned for next week's Putting Dr. G on the Spot.